Bye.
Welcome everybody to, gosh, I think it's now episode 6 of Road to Grand Master. Today we're going to kind of go over stage prep, getting to the match, looking at the stages or studying the plans before and coming up with, or how I decide to come up with how I'm going to maneuver through the stage. But before we get too far into that, I want to thank today's sponsor, Astro Optics. Astro Optics is the new player in the game of range finding electronics. Very cool little system that they got going on here. You might see me on pistol range and stuff during the weekends in the summertime, doing my shooting sports competition, but in the wintertime you're going to find me out in the field. I'm going to be stalking deer, hunting coyotes, antelope, things like that, you know, and that's what I do. I mean, I'm an outdoorsman through and through, so all the time that's where you're pretty much going to find me, and that's where Astro comes in. You know, everything I shoot in terms of big game, small game, when I go out hunting, I'm using on the scope of my rifle. My irons aren't as good as they used to be, so it's hard for me to judge distance. So with the Astro Optic Rangefinder, it's a great little piece. We're going to go over some specifications here with you guys real quick. It comes with this little baggie, which is super nice, you know, because I like to keep my stuff nice. I like to keep it clean. So they got their little bag with a lanyard on it. In the box, you're also going to get their big lens cleaning cloth. You know, not only does it work good for that, it works good for your glasses, it works good for your optic on your pistol and your competition pistol as well. You can also go over some of the technical specs with it, and I'm going to read off a few of them for you here. It's got a 6x magnification, 21mm lens, close focus is 16 yards, 16mm eye relief. Field of view is 31.5 feet at 100 yards. Water resistant, PX4 water resistant. Laser range reflective distance is 6 to 1,760 yards, and you can range a tree at 1,000 yards or a deer at even at 800. So one of the biggest perks with Astro Optics is their warranty. I mean, their warranty is top shelf. They call it their handshake warranty. I mean, if there's any issues with it that you have from the moment you buy it till you are almost done using it. I mean, if you're using it for 5 years and you start to have issues with it, they honor it. And the warranty is transferable to, you know, if you sold it or gave it to one of your kids, you know, that warranty is transferable because they stand behind their product. It's a huge selling point for them because, you know, in the world of electronic devices like this, it's so hard sometimes to get the good customer care that you're after, you know, and with Astro, I mean, they're really the new player in the game. I think they're going to change the landscape of it. I've had the opportunity to use it. I've used many in the past. You know, I'm a 6 hour guy. I had one of theirs. I liked it. It was good, but it could be complicated to use at times. I didn't have a Vortex, but I've used a couple Vortex ones just to try them out to see. Because I'm really picky. I'm really picky on what I like, what I don't like. You know, I don't. I do my research before I jump in, you know, because some of these things are amazingly expensive. I mean, the 6 hour one I had was close to $400, and it doesn't do anything else that the Astro Optics does. This one's the OTX 1600 laser. It has red displays in it, so it's good in low light conditions. It's good in shadowy conditions. It's clear. You know, you can obviously adjust your focal points on there so it's not fuzzy. And the best part is that this thing is $200. Huge value for your money. I couldn't be happier with just a little bit of time I've gotten to use it right now. It's been great for me. My son, we were heading back from our match and weld that I shared with you guys last week, and you know, we were driving, and anytime we'd stop, he was ranging stuff. Yesterday we were up on the hill here in town, and we were doing some shopping at Cabela's, and excuse me, he was ranging all the signs and telling me how far all the signs in the restaurants and stuff were from us. So, you know, super accurate. It's really cool. If you have a chance, check them out, www.astrooptics.com. Hit them up. You go to their website. All their sales are handled through Amazon right now. So, you know, you can get prime shipping on most of their rangefinders. And they have a range of them. You know, they have really low cost. I think the first one starts at $169. You can get them all the way up to $299. They also have golf rangefinders too, that are more geared towards the golfing enthusiast is trying to range his pin. So if you have an opportunity, hit them up, www.astrooptics.com. I love them. They support me, so obviously, I support them, and their products are good. I mean, they're really, really good. So hit them up. Again, www.astrooptics.com. So without further ado, today we're going to talk a little bit about range strategy, or stage strategy, I should say. Where do I begin? Obviously, with USPSA, are you ever going to shoot the same stage twice unless it's classifier? Probably not. There's so many stages out there. A lot of clubs will design their own, or they'll pull from a bank of USPSA stages. At our local match here in town, we do our own stuff. I shouldn't say we, I should say Thomas. Thomas does all of the match and stage planning and stuff. So we get some crazy stuff going on, and it's really fun. But it's all part of dissecting it, and that's one of the parts that I find that I enjoy so much in the sport. I mean, obviously the shooting and the going fast and the being accurate, the ego stuff. That's fun, but one of the parts I enjoy the most is dissecting it. Figuring out what's the best, most efficient way I'm going to make it through this stage. If somebody's running this stage, and if this stage is possible to run in 30 seconds, man, how can I make it in 28? Kind of a situation, So, me being right-handed, I have a tendency to start on the right-hand side of the stage. I mean, depending on where your start is. Sometimes you start dead in the middle, heels on the marks, or your hands on a fence, or a wall, whatever you want to call it, and then you have to decide which direction to go to engage. 9 times out of 10, I find myself, I'll start either on the right, if it's a start anywhere in the box, or if it's a start here, unless it's dedicated left side, start here. I'll start in the middle or wherever it's told me to, and then I'll make an immediate right, engage all the way to my right, finally, hit targets over there. Then I start coming back to my left, because as I'm transitioning, as I'm running away from the array I just shot, and I'm heading 180 degrees away from the range, I still have my gun pointed downrange. And it's just, I don't know if it's more that I determine that it's quicker. I think it's more of the safety aspect of it. I'm going to knock on my little wooden stool here. I haven't been disqualified for a match for a safety infraction, and I'd like to keep that record. I know my day's coming, but I don't. I try and minimize it, because obviously it can be an inherently dangerous sport. We talked about in the last episode kids, and the trust you put them in. Those shooters put that kind of trust in you too. I've been to matches and, even hosted the ones in town. We've had people break the 180, and we're a learning club. And so it's a whoa, 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 stop, finger off the trigger, we'll correct it. And, we'll give you a couple opportunities, because you're new at it. That's a lot to think of. So, more of the safety aspect for me, I think, more than anything. But I always hit the right, because like I said, I'm right-handed. Then I'll start weaving my way through the stage. Going around walls is another fun one. I mean, if you have a stage with a lot of walls and you're in designated shooting boxes, you have your box that you have to stay in, your fault lines. For the longest time, I would never leave them. We would start inside of the box, and it was a really big box that maneuvered around walls and made a Z pattern, whatever it did. And there was a lot of dead space. You were just moving from one area to the other. Sorry, I'm sitting outside my garage. That's why you heard that exhaust. But you'd be moving from one area to the next, and then going in that area. There was a lot of dead space. And it's dead time. I mean, if you're not shooting, if you're not clearing targets, it's dead time. Then I discovered the trick. Just at a match, and I didn't think about it. I didn't read through the rules terribly when I discovered, but you can jump outside of that box as long as you're not engaging a target. So, that put a whole new wrinkle in the game. It's fun to watch the kids do it too. I talk about my son a lot. We had a stage that we set up that you had to grab a lunch box. At the beginning of the stage, you were fully loaded start in the holster, you hit your beep and you draw up, you engage a couple targets in front of you, then you got to grab a lunch box. And you're going to take this lunch box all the way through the stage, because at the very end, the very last target you're engaging is a swinger, and it has to be activated by putting a lunch box in this little box. My son was walking it, and he had it figured out, and I'm thinking, man, I hate doing dominant hand only for that much of a stage, but we're going to do it. So everybody went. You know, most people, I say he was like third to last or fourth to last out of like 10 or 15 of us that day. Everybody goes and they do the standard. They get up and they engage, they shoot the targets, and then they grab their lunchbox, man, and they're holding it, and they're holding it against their chest, and they're engaging targets as they see them all the way through the stage. I did it. Everybody did it. When the stage was getting explained to us, nowhere in the stage did it say that you had to shoot one-handed. You had to engage with your dominant. Nothing ever said that. It just said you had to get the lunchbox to the end. And whether that's kick it or whatever, you know, it didn't matter as long as you got it there, essentially. Aiden caught on to that really quickly, you know, and he's one that, he shoots an X5 Legion. He's 10 years old. He's big for 10, but, you know, carrying that big gun like that, fully loaded, I mean, it can be a heavy beast. So, you know, at that time he was trying to make things a little bit easier for himself. So he decided at the beginning of that stage, we're getting ready to walk up there, and I'm like, you got your stage plan figured out? And he's like, I got this. And I said, okay. I said, what are you doing? And he pulls me off to the side. He's like, I don't want anybody else to hear me. I said, okay, what? He said, since I don't have to grab it, right? You know, I don't have to hold it. It just says I have to get it there. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to, you know, the lunchbox has got a handle on it, and I'm going to put my arm through that handle so it sits here, up here on my shoulder, and then I can engage freestyle. And I just kind of looked at him, and I said, you know, they didn't say you couldn't, so, you know, by all means, you might get disqualified, you might not. You know, it was at our local match. Was it going to get disqualified? No, because, you know, we're just a practice club. And he did it, and he just killed it. You know, he did it so well. He was just butter smooth with it, and everybody just kind of, you know, oh man, why didn't I think of that kind of thing? It was funny, you know. So Aiden won on the day when it came to figuring out the stage. You know, my advice to anybody that's new to the sport, I mean, watch the YouTube videos. You know, I mean, I share all of mine on my other channel. It's just my name, Justin Christensen. Go there and just watch them. You know, I have some head cam stuff on there. I have third person or second person view, people recording me as I'm shooting my stages because I like to go back through them. And there's everybody else. I mean, everybody and their brother has YouTube videos out there that show their stages and what they're doing. Look at them, watch them, see how people dissect it. When you develop your plan, have a good habit of sticking to it. You know, when you get there and you're going through your stages, get in and pretend you're shooting it. I mean, obviously your gun's in your belt, but, you know, you hold your hands out, you know, and you guys see me do this a lot. And hold your hands out and, you know, sight down your thumbs and pretend you're shooting the stage, and do it a couple different ways. You know, every club, every match, they allow you time a few minutes before the stage starts to figure it out, you know, or before the entire match starts. You know, you get there soon enough and you can walk the entire day and see what you're going to do with it. And take that time. I mean, seriously, I've had stages that I've lost over a matter of, you know, 1/100th of a second. I've had stages I've won by 1,000th of a second. You know, and it's just, the big part of it is time. I mean, if you're not shooting, you're running, and you're running the most efficient way through the stage, you know, so get there and figure it out. You can go from A to Z, start, and then, you know, while you're at it, depending on the division you're in, I mean, if you're in production, you got 10 rounds. You got to figure out your reloads in there too, you know, and that's a big one, is trying to figure out the most efficient way to do it and reload, because yeah, you're competing with limited guys, and you're competing with carry optics guys, and you're competing with open guys and PCCs, but they ain't got to reload as much as you do. You know, I can carry up, you know, whatever 140 millimeter magazine will carry. I can carry 21 rounds with my gun and still be legal, versus, you know, a production person's 10, you know, 11 if you count the Barney. But you know, I could run it one way, and it may not be the most efficient way for somebody in production. It may not be the most efficient way for somebody in carry optics. You know, it all depends on the division you're in. And yeah, is somebody going to run it so fast? Is a limited guy going to run it, or an opening guy going to run it incredibly quick and win the stage? You know, chances are, yeah. You know, is he going to have a better time? In most cases, I mean, if you guys are going shot for shot with each other and you're both really good, or all three of you, however many you are there, you guys are going head to head on the stage, and you guys are cracking shots off, and it's one, one hit on steel and 2 hits on paper, and you're not having to make up shots. Production versus limited, who's going to get the better time? Well, I would venture to say it's probably going to be the limited guy, because he doesn't have to reload. Unless you're talking a 36-round stage or a 28-round stage, 24-round stage, yeah. But we only have to do it once. 24-round stage, you're on magazine 3 at the end of that stage, So you come up with a plan that works best for you. And when you come up with that plan, stick to it, One of the biggest things that me and Thomas and David were talking about at our last match in Weld was, Thomas, he told me, he's like, gosh, I hate going close last or close to last. And I asked him why, and he's like, because my stage plan gets all blown away. I have it all figured out how I want to do it, and then I see someone else do it, and they're like super smooth and super efficient, and it's completely different than the way I do it. And then I walk up to the line, and I'm guessing on what I'm going to do. He's like, so I like to go first and execute my stage plan, and then the cards will fall where they may. It takes some of the pressure off. It takes some of the trying to figure it out away from it. So, and I can see that. Me, I love to go first. If they do the random on there and they're like, Dustin, you're first, you ready? I said, heck yeah, man, because I want to get it done. I want to get it over with. I don't want to corrupt my head with something someone else did, and I don't want to give someone else the opportunity to make a mistake and throw me off my mental game. So long story short is figure out exactly what you want to do. There's a website, they have these 3D stage builder kits. You guys are going to see it on the thumbnail. Those things are neat. I ordered one 6 months ago. I still haven't seen it. But, setting those up. And I've even seen people get, a camera, like a drain snake camera, and push it through the stage as if they were going to do it so they could see how it would go. And they pull the USPSA stages off, and they look at them and figure out, okay, so when they go to the match, they know what the most efficient way is going to be. They got everything. They got barrels, they have the paper targets, steel targets, they have the walls, they have Texas stars, everything. And you get those and look at them from a bird's eye view. Take a picture of them from above, and you can sit there and calculate it out. So, there's plenty of tricks that you can do. Am I the most efficient? No. There's some times that I completely blow my stage plan. It happens. There's so much going through your head, and I've seen really good shooters. Thomas is one that he's made a misstep in his stage plan, and he's made the mistake. I've watched competitions where your grandmasters, occasionally they will make a mistake. So for me, it's all about most efficient. In my division, limited, I can do whatever I choose to do, and whatever's going to be the fastest for me. And I'm still counting off my rounds, and I like to load about 18 rounds. After I've gone through about 18 rounds, I always reload, because I don't know if I'm going to come across a Texas Star or something I'm going to struggle in. Luckily I've been, about 70% on the Texas Star with success versus utter failure. But I don't want to have to do a reload in the middle of trying to knock all those plates off. So, calculate it, figure it out. What's going to be the most efficient way for you to do it? And, too, I say I don't necessarily like to watch other people on their stage plan because it'll throw me off. But sometimes, back to the story with Aiden, if he would have been, obviously he was 9 at the time he shot that stage. He's not, like I've shared with you before, he's not the fastest. He doesn't care to be the fastest. He's having fun. If he would have been in his 20s, or even, 17, 18 and competing in that match, doing that, his time would have just destroyed everybody. It really would have, because he was able to crack off splits that were really good, because he didn't have to settle his arm down and get a good sight picture off the one-handed draw. So, it's all about what's going to work best for you, but also do take a little stock in what other people are doing. If you're one of those that you can dissect it and not harm your plan with it, absolutely. Take note, watch video, see how different people move. When I first started in a stage, we had a lot of stages that, you could walk and shoot. My walking and shooting was atrocious. It was so terrible. I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn at a 5-yard target walking, and then I learned, you kind of got to squat, and you got to make the motion really fluid, piece of cotton, and then you're able to do it. And now, I dare say I've gotten fairly good. I'll include a stage on here where I've done that. But practice that, you know, because everything, it's all about time. It's all about points versus time. And like I said, if you're not shooting, man, you better be going, and you better be going as quickly as you can, because then that's really going to maximize your hit factor. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys do things different, obviously, please hit me up. You know, comment on here what you're doing. Follow us on Instagram, Christensen Tactical on Instagram. We upload some stuff on there. Usually upload a few short match videos after the day before, prior to anything launching on YouTube. So if you like to keep up on what we're doing and kind of the different things we got going on, follow us on there. We're on Facebook, Christensen Tactical page on Facebook. I'm guilty. I spend a little bit more time on Facebook than I do on Instagram. You know, I'm a Midwestern kid, and I used to be all up on technology, but you know, I'm not the best at it. So I find Facebook always seems to be my go-to one. So like and subscribe, guys, if you like what we're doing, you know, and you're taking good information. We get more every day, and like I said, I appreciate you guys. And again, I want to sit here and I want to thank today's sponsor of our video, Astro Optics. Hit them up, guys. I mean, they're great. You know, I love them. This little thing it's an amazing little rangefinder. Simple to use. It's really accurate. The value for the money is there. You know, I've used a few different ones in my time. I really enjoy the way that this one works, not just because they are a supporter of mine. They became a supporter of mine because I wanted to try their product, and I said, God, you know, I want to be able to help market you guys, because this thing, it's awesome. It's a game changer for the price. You know, you're not going to be disappointed with it. So hit them up, and without that, guys, I mean, I appreciate you, and if you haven't already and you want to, like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Stand by.